Hey up. Today's video is on a failed attempt I had at casting some sea urchins in bronze and a espresso coffee cup in silver. And I go through, they both fail, and I've kind of looked at the video afterwards and realized where I failed. So anyway, so my failed attempt, silver coffee cup and the bronze sea urchins. The wife said she likes this, so she wants to keep this in her mantelpiece. Where I failed at, I forgot to turn the vacuum on both times I cast. You can see it in the silver, the bubbles coming up, so that's why this failed. I think also I had the silver temperature a little bit too low. I should have probably did it at 1100 degrees. And I should have vacuumed the investment before I poured it into the flasks. I've got away with it in the past, but this time it failed on me. Okay, so those are the things that I took away from watching the video. So next time I'm going to change my setup so I have a little bit more room and can turn on the vacuum before I pour. Anyway, the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. Anyway, you can see the video on how I failed. Okay, so I've been looking for a cup. This one's a little big. It's got a nice shape to it. But then I found this at one of the thrift stores. Beautiful shape. So I'm going to cast this. I'm going to put it on, I'll make a box for it, pour silicone in, make a wax mold, and then I'll cast it out of silver. So I'm going to cast it like this, but I'm going to pour the silicone in like this so I can get there. So anyway, we'll get to cutting the material to make the box. We'll mount this in the box and then we'll pour the silicone. Back in a bit. So I get my glue gun. I just put a crack on there. Okay, so I've made my box, but it's got holes on the edge, so the silicone will come out. So I've got a bigger glue gun, and I'm going to seal these with an edge or a bead. Okay, so I've put my base on here, and I'm just going to glue that in. I've got this to see if it's level, and we'll just let it set. So I'm going to put a big dollop of glue on the bottom of this, stick it in there, okay, now it's time to mix the silicone. This is 20A, means it's a softer rubber. The lower the number, the really softer it is. The higher the number, the more rigid. So I'm going to be casting with this. It's 1-for-1 by weight. So I'm going to mix up some containers. I'm going to pour into these. I'm going to assume my box is about 6 of these to fill up to here. So I'm going to go mix this up and back in a bit. Just zero this out. It's 255. Mix this up, and if you do it into a second cup, you make sure everything in the corners gets mixed. Okay, so I've got this mold release, Man 200 ease release. It has a wax, and you can smell it. It smells like Pledge furniture polish. So I'm gonna spray the sides. We'll pour this in. Okay, this is set up now. It set a little bit quick on me, and I didn't have time to put a key in here, so I just dug it out with a knife. So now I'm going to put the plug in for there and the top, so that can just be pulled out. Okay, we'll let that set, and we'll peel it apart. Back in a bit. Okay, so take the rubber bands off. Didn't think that through very well. Oh well, I'm gonna have to finesse this out. Back in a bit. Okay, so the handle broke off getting it out. I can reattach that, but this came out well. So I'm gonna make another one. It's still got some of the residual green mold stuff on it, but I'm happy. I like this. I'll keep it as a backup. Anyway, on with the show. Okay, so I've got the cup on my wax, and I'll just place the flask on, and then this seals around it. This is a pin to put a tool to take it in and out. So next up, to put the flask on top and then fill it with investment. Okay, so I'm using this stuff, Ultravest. Works really well. Got my mixer, my bowl, thing to measure the powder up, scale, and my water. So I'm gonna start mixing it up. Okay, so we got that on ounces. I'm gonna do a mixture of 38 to 100, so basically 56 ounces of powder, 620 milliliters of water. So I'll measure up some powder. So I'm just going to throw some in. Okay, so I've got it in my vacuum chamber. Okay, so it's in the vacuum chamber. I'm pulling about 30, and it's bubbling away the oxygen. So I'm just going to let it sit here. Supposed to do it for about 3 minutes. It's done about 2 so far. Okay, so it's 12 o'clock and it's basically stopped dripping, and it's at 270 degrees. So I'm going to start moving them over to the kiln outside. Okay, so it's 4:20 and it's 1100 degrees. Maybe about 2 hours at 1400 degrees. Now I'm letting it cool down to 1000, which is pouring temperature. So I'm going to start up my small furnace. I've got some bronze in there, and I've got this container. I like the way it looks from that. So I'm going to start heating that up, and I've got my 11 ounces of silver in there. So I'm going to start heating up all the metal, and then I'll do the pour. Okay, so I've got the bronze on. This is bronze that I've had before. It's 10% tin, 90% copper. I've got it on really low, not even showing anything on the meter. So I want to bring it up really slow, allow all the moisture to evaporate off. So I'm going to start up the silver now. Okay, it's 5 o'clock. And I don't know, it's hard to get a temperature reading, but this is 950 Celsius, so it's getting up there. I can see it's orange inside. The coins are... Okay, so 5:13. Oh, the silver is actually molten already. Okay, so I've got that out. Temperature of this, 750 degrees. forgot to turn the vacuum on. Okay, so I got the coffee cup. It actually kind of, from the outside, there's some flaws, but the shape is actually there. The bottom just blew out. So I'm going to have to think about how to do this better. The bronze, I think this is still really hot. Failed completely. I'm going to have to reevaluate how I did that. It's the doing the tree. Both are failures, but some things worked out, and I'll do it again. I'll think of how to correct the things that didn't work. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it, learned from some of my mistakes, and back in the next one. Bye.